Look at that. We are back. Season 10 is rocking right along. Kelly, Adam, how are you?
Hello. It's so great to be back. And guess what? We're being recorded this time around. Visually, we're being recorded visually speaking.
Yay.
Yes, we're giving it a go. We're giving it a go to see if we all look, like we're okay on screen because we're all radio people. So
we all have faces for radio.
Exactly. That's why my ball cap is on.
Yeah, that's why I'm assessing my situation. Where's my ball cap is what I wondered. We should get ball caps.
We should.
And I should get smaller headphones. They do look better. I have those big headphones that make my head look huge.
But Adam, where's your white headphones? Because for some of our longtime listeners like Shane and Mia, they might like to actually finally see what these white headphones look like.
You know what happens with electronic stuff and, audio materials? Sometimes it just stops working.
Okay.
You broke him.
So I was in the middle of a show and the right ear stopped working and we tried fixing it and we just couldn't do it. So that's what happened.
And I should preface before Sharon starts the countdown for the show here, meaning like what's coming up. So we are recording this visually. I am going to do my best to get this edited and on screen. We'll see if it's on screen or online, I should say, by the time we actually release the audio version. So we'll do our best.
So if it's not, it just sucked.
I don't know about that.
Again next week.
That'll be a trending hashtag. It sucked. Well, you know what? We're going to tell you which classic album cover is getting a change for its 30th anniversary, and we'll discuss the reasons why it's getting a change. Also, Ben Affleck got all kinds of gushy on one of his contemporaries, on someone who he'd like to work with again, and no surprise because I think everybody gets all kinds of gushy over the guy that we're going to talk about. Of the millions of people who would happily fill the role of friend to this woman, we're going to tell you who it is that can count her closest friends on one hand. Also, Kelly's trivia is going to get you thinking. We'll do a 90s rewind a little bit later on too. But we got pretty big news about the NKOTB and the S&P. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to speak in letters for the rest of the show.
Isn't S&P like a stock index?
Savings and something like that.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Savings and loan, SNL.
It's the S&P 500.
Oh, is it?
That's what you're referring to, Kelly.
Yeah.
What's the P mean?
Procter, I think. Wait.
Procter and Gamble? Home of daytime soaps?
No, I know this.
Nope.
I'm studying this right now.
Okay. Well, while you dig up the dirt.
Okay, wait. I got the answer.
Okay.
Oh,
so S&P stands for Standard and Poor.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
So the Standard and Poor 500.
So like a rating, not like
it's an index of the stock performance used in the US.
So it's not like a rating of my bank account.
Well, it could be
depending on the month.
if all your bank account would be listed on the S&P 500, it would represent exactly how much money you have in your account.
Okay.
What's your gross domestic product, Sharon?
It's gross. I'll thank you not to talk about my domestic products. So with NKOTB and SNP, so New Kids on the Block and Salt-N-Pepa, they are doing the old rewind of the mixtape tour again. Another big show. So we're going to start there. New Kids on the Block touring with Salt-N-Pepa, but also Kathy and Susan.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's true. We haven't spoken about Kathy and Susan in a while. The dangling members of En Vogue. We'll see which members of En Vogue are on this tour, along with New Kids on the Block, Salt-N-Pepa, and Rick Astley.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How cool. Gosh.
Very cool.
Rick Astley made the news quite a few times over the past few years, not the least of which was when the Foo Fighters performed with him.
Yeah.
And did Never Gonna Give You Up, right?
That's awesome. That song is such a good track. Oh my goodness.
Oh, no kidding.
And actually the one that because in what was the two in the 90s? Because obviously I know we had that was 80s, right? Never Gonna Give You Up was like 88 or something.
Yeah, I think I was in the
But there's a one that he put out a ballad in 93 called Cry for Help. and I love that one.
Wasn't that kind of gospel-y?
Yes, he had the gospel choir with him, and it was and that's when he had the flowy long locks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And I have to say, like, as
Mm.
a lady who doesn't normally fancy men, he was fancy.
I don't really like long hair. I'm sorry.
On guys?
On guys.
I think it depends on who, because
It really depends on the guy.
Yeah,
some people
can
really
pull it off.
really pull it up. Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed. And he was a young guy
Yeah.
at the time when he was enjoying his big fame with Never Gonna Give You Up. Was it
Cry for Help was the ballad.
Cry for Help. Together Forever was another one. And that I'm looking at a third one.
Don't they have? I think Adam could probably find this online. I recently saw this just within the last couple of weeks. Somebody made a meme of Rick Astley's like song titles.
Yeah,
and it was pretty funny, like how they all kind of can mean the same thing. Or whatever.
Totally.
It's cool.
Totes. Well, fun fact that the last time around they did the mixtape tour, which would be back in 2019. Which is the reference point of when everything was kind of normal.
Yeah.
They did it with Salt-N-Pepa, but also Tiffany, Debbie Gibson, and Naughty by Nature.
Yep.
And that show sold more than 650,000 tickets, grossing $53.2 million US dollars. That's a quadrillion Canadian dollars.
You know the magic man behind all this is Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah.
He's the one that has been he's the one I think that finally got them all back together again in 2008. And then has just kept pushing them forward and doing that thing. And I love how positive he is. Like I don't know if you follow him on Instagram. The two of you both should follow him. Like he's so like positive about everything. And like, he loves his fans so much. And I love how like, he was like the tough guy in the group. You know what I mean? Like he had the street cred. But
he was hanging tough.
That's it. He was totally hanging tough. And like, remember he had the long, like he had that tail, like hair, like he had a lot going on. But he is like the big softy of the group, I think. Like he really has the passion and the compassion for his fans and like for his blockheads, as they call them. And I think it's funny that like the roughneck guy is the one with the heart,
Yeah. Well, we're fans are grateful to him for sure. If he's the nudge behind the tours like this, then good on him and good for everybody. We know, I know from experience what it's like to see a 90s build tour with a bunch of names on it that also includes Salt-N-Pepa. Don't fall for it. Meaning, if you get a VIP opportunity, maybe take it, but don't think you're going to get a good picture. No, just don't. I should take this opportunity to share my picture on the video.
Do you have the picture?
Well, if you could talk about something else, it would look like I was prepared.
But I've never seen the picture.
Yeah, we also have never, in the 10 seasons we've been doing the show, Sharon has never showed off the white hammer pants that she had back in the day when she was living.
Them. They were awesome, though.
Do you still have them?
I don't think I do.
Really?
Which is good news, I think. Yeah. I mean, it's bad news because I wish I did to show them, but it shows promise that I am able to get rid of things, which is debated in this house. I can tell you that. Oh, look at that. It's coming right up.
Yeah, and I will, while you're still looking for the picture. So, do you have news? Are you ready?
Well, honestly, I guess our phones are listening to our thoughts and words because it came right up. Anyways, whatever.
Oh, there's the picture. Nice.
Oh wait, there's us here.
Yeah. Okay. Who was more unhappy? Who was more unhappy, Salt or Pepa?
A dash of both. But look, like there's Pepa beside me, right?
Yeah.
Trust me, it was her. I couldn't barely see her either. Ball cap so low, and then Salt was beside Deb.
Yeah.
And they were, come picture time, they were pleasant enough, but. Like, honestly, I'll zero in on.
It really could be anyone.
Who felt VIP that day? None of those four people.
Yeah.
Not Salt, not Pepa, not Sharon, not Deb.
Were they nice to you, like at all?
They didn't really talk that much. And I wore our shirt from the show and I'm like, oh, we talk about you, whatever. And oh, thanks a lot. I mean, Cheryl was you know, pretty she wasn't chatty. She was nice enough,
Right. Yeah.
you know, if I paid.
Well, that's and like so many of the artists now are doing these things, right? Like the current pop stars, and like if you're paying like an extra $400 or $500 for this experience,
Exactly.
like please be happy that your fans. First of all, you're so lucky to have fans. You know what I mean? Like, and I know it's probably easy at that level to get jaded about it, but if it wasn't for these people, you would not be living in Beverly Hills with 6 cars.
That pretty much sums it up, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, we're gonna get gushy. We'll pick up our spirits from this conversation and get gushy with Ben Affleck about someone he'd like to work with again. But we'll do that after we get into Kelly's trivia.
Let's do it.
90s trivia.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
So I don't want to give it away, but I'll just quickly see like my fun cards. Woo! Like, because I don't want to see the answers on the back. But those are my 90s now fun cards.
What sort of
again,
laser vision do you think people have?
Well, I don't want you to cheat,
Adam.
Sharon. So question number 1 will be, Hank Hill was the head of the family in which animated comedy?
Sharon.
Hank Hill?
Sharon, I said Sharon.
You said your name, Sharon.
Oh, did I? King of the Hill.
Yes, and I would just like to add, as we've discussed before on the show, that randomly these cards will have funky words attached to the answer. So this one has that. King of the Hill, comma, dude, exclamation mark.
Dude. Like that.
All right. So Adam, did you have any clue?
No idea. I mean, I've heard of the show, but
Yeah.
I've never sat down.
And there was a clue in the question too.
Yes, there was.
Bill.
Yes, there was. Question number 2. Who had a hit song with It's Oh So Quiet in 1995?
I know this.
Can you sing it?
No. You know that anything I'll
No.
sing will just have a Janet melody to it. So
Who's tick-tacking on a keyboard on
Yeah,
screen
don't-
here?
you're not.
I am.
Oh,
It
I
didn't
know
work
this.
out.
Wait, maybe I know it too.
I feel like I know this.
I feel like you
Anybody gonna
should have.
take a
You
guess?
looked it up on the internet.
No idea.
No idea. Sharon?
No.
Come on, Sharon, take a guess. Come on. 1995.
Oh, so quiet.
It's Oh So Quiet.
Can I have like a hint? Is it a person or a band?
Single artist, female. She's not gonna get the point anyway, Adam. Not that there is a point yet.
1995.
Yeah.
Paula.
Sorry?
Paula Abdul.
No.
Donna Lewis.
Bjork.
Oh, Bjork.
God.
Oh, that video. Yeah, I do remember.
Sharon, do you
that.
remember the year when she wore the swan?
I do. What I think, and that was kind of a cute little fuzzy dress.
Yeah.
What I think gets underlooked or overlooked or both is her snapping when she was coming through the airport and somebody looked at her. You could see she was sort of side-eyed and she lunged at them and beat the tar out of the person.
Little Bjork did?
Oh yeah. It was a moment.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
it
This
was.
must have been all over TMZ, or was this before TMZ? Like,
It was before TMZ, but there's footage. But it's a moment, but like a suable moment. I think
so she went
something would have
like
happened.
she went Banana Town for.
I think
because
somebody was
looked
filming
at
her, and I think the person that was filming her, she lunged at them like this.
It's too bad she didn't have that swan dress at the time. She could just strangled them with the swan.
Oh man.
Oh, well, nice
It's
try,
so
Adam.
quiet, and then she ends up screaming in that song, right?
Possibly. I don't know.
You couldn't dance to it.
You know what I recently listened to was in full. I listened to Madonna's Secret album, like with bedtime stories.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Did you love it?
interesting how some of the songs are translate well to where we are now from 1994 to now. And then there's one that it's still really good musically, but the lyrics are going into the pre-chorus, I think it is so terrible. And I was like, how did that make it on a Madonna album? And how is she singing that and it's okay? Because it's like they gave up. It's like they needed to rhyme. So they tried it and then
Yeah.
it didn't quite work out, but it sounded all right. So they went with it.
Funny, eh?
But it's Secret's such a great album though. Like,
That's the one that Babyface produced, right?
yeah. But then I found out too, if memory serves, that because I was reading the liner notes, because remember liner notes?
Yes.
And she said something I'm pretty sure it was in the liner notes. She said something to the effect of like, I'm so lucky to have gotten through this process. It was like a trying experience.
Wow.
So
imagine all the way back then, her trying times had begun.
yeah.
And then you see her on like Instagram now, and
she's so funny on Instagram. I love her. She's crazy.
well, it's neat. She does some stuff where it seems like, she's wearing like a bodysuit and a long coat and boots, but she's at home having a muffin,
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's certain artists that like are happy to dress up all the time, and I'm like, how do you bother with that? Like,
Yeah.
like it's a lot of effort to look that constrained
I know.
and cleavagey
I know.
at home on a Tuesday.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I like to take a day and wear a baseball shirt
Yeah.
and no pants.
Don't stand up, Sharon.
Don't you worry. So let's get to the gushy. How about that? Ben Affleck,
Mm-hmm.
George Clooney.
Mm.
Ben loves George. End of story. Well, it's not really the end of the story. We can elaborate on that how he wants to work with him again, citing him as the best director he had worked with. And he went on to say he's a really, really smart actor. And what I really learned about George as an actor is George really understands exactly how to kind of calibrate a performance. He really understands the audience's expectations. The truth is, he's just really good at this thing.
That's
Man
awesome.
crush. Fanboy. So
I
will they work
love
together
how
again?
George is
We'll
good at
see.
everything.
It seems like he really is good at everything. And then he can like squeeze an endorsement commercial, for
I thought you were going to say
Nespresso and make that
he
seem
can
cool.
squeeze Nespresso juice through his loins.
I'm sure he works out. I'm just not sure.
You know what I find sad is because he used to ride like a scooter, I think, or some kind of version of a motorcycle over in Italy, I believe it was.
Mhm.
And when he
When?
had that accident, I think his wife asked him to stop that. And so as a fellow two-wheel aficionado, I feel sad that he's had to give it up.
I love how that sound could actually mean anything.
Yeah.
It could mean come here, horse. It could mean let's go over there and make out.
Yeah.
And in this case, it means you're not playing on your two-wheeler anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
George.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens about getting Ben Affleck and George Clooney together on screen to work, or maybe one on screen, one behind the screen. Who knows? Time will tell.
By the way, as of this recording, Ben and Jen, Bennifer 2.0, still going strong.
wow, good for them, crazy kids in love.
I think we briefly discussed this before. I still am so shocked that they have returned to one another. Like, out of all of her exes, he is not the one I would have ever thought that would happen. And not that I have any knowledge of why it wouldn't work, but it's I just never thought. But I'm happy for them because they do seem happy. So
yeah,
carry on, Bennifer 2.0.
You know what? If you love something, you let it go, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was.
Oh, I thought if it doesn't, hunt it down and kill it.
Well, if you have to make a point, do that. And then
Okay.
it's yours again. Hunt it down and kill it. Hunt it down and put it in the back seat.
Right.
Speaking of questionable behavior, I'm going to highlight it by saying that's going to surprisingly come at the end of this story about how Nirvana's Nevermind is turning 30 this year. Actually, just did a couple of weeks ago. 30. That album is like a game changer in so many ways for rock as a genre, for how we listen to things. Incredible. So the classic cover of the baby underwater, seemingly going after the dollar bill on the hook, has long actually been in question by the baby who is also now 30 years old.
Yeah.
And as a baby
Yeah.
boy, which we can clearly see on the album, because of his display on the cover. There's been
Is that what they
questions
call
as
it now,
to
Sharon? A display?
a display. Well, it depends on the venue, I think. But he's not interested in having his display on display anymore, and has taken some action to make or take care of that. I get that, but at the same time, the claim was that his parents didn't give consent, and on and on. So now there's an anniversary reissue of the album, and new cover that with no display. There's a hand gesture for display. The thing I disagree with, I get it on some level, I get it. Yet at the same time, the guy is alluding to child pornography.
Oh, does he? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so that's is it the issue? Is he making it the issue? Whatever. What the article reads is that while U.S. law doesn't typically consider non-sexualized pictures of infants as child pornography, this man's lawyer has previously argued that the superimposed dollar bill makes it seem like the baby is, quote, like a sex worker, which is, in my opinion, obviously it's my opinion, I think that's a bit much. I never got that from that.
I never got
what
that.
I got from that.
It was like when it first came out, and I guess this was like 1990s eyes. Like I thought it was cutesy.
Well, it sort of was like, everybody's going after the almighty dollar. That's what my perception of it was.
Yeah.
Like, you'll only find Nirvana if you go after money.
Right.
Or maybe never mind the money, work the album title in. Either way, obviously the baby's not
but there's a line that I saw and it was in quotation, so I'm assuming that this is some part of the legalese of it or something, but it was something to the effect of like he's had emotional duress for years.
Yeah, well, he was saying that, or claiming rather, that he's suffered and will continue to suffer lifelong damages as a result of that. Which, again, my opinion, I sort of think that it's a picture of when you were a baby. Like, are we all not fortunate enough to have baby pictures of ourselves that embarrass us? And some people don't have that. I get that. But I don't see how an infant shot, 4-month-old baby could have lifelong. I don't understand how you would still suffer lifelong damages.
And it's not like you would recognize him unless he says he is who he is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's
exactly.
There's many reasons why you would never know that it was him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
and then my other thing, I guess I'm looking through it like through rose-colored glasses, is like, wouldn't you want to be the baby from the Nirvana thing? Like, it's cool. Like, you got street cred. So like, too. It's super cool.
Yeah. I'd only correct one thing on that, Kelly, is that instead of rose-colored glasses, you should be wearing rose-colored goggles.
Also true. Nice one, Sharon. Yeah.
Anyways, happy anniversary to the album. Good luck with
but wait, question is the new cover edition, is it the same cover, just covering the display of
I haven't seen the cover.
Guy? Okay, we don't know yet.
I think it's still under wraps.
I love that Dave was able to say though that he doesn't do the paperwork, so he doesn't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is when you're like that big, have that much money, that it's really the lawyers that deal with the problems.
And true, like you don't want to be, for lack of a better cliche, because of the album, you don't want to be baited, right, into like trying to prove that the album was something or it wasn't something. You don't want to fight in the media about what you thought the album cover was. Just let it happen. I think Dave Grohl happens to be one of the most settled humans, considering the job that he does and the stature that he has created for himself in the world. He's pretty level about things. So I think, for him to say he's happy that he doesn't have to do the paperwork, he's just like us.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else do we want to talk about today? Sorry, I pressed the wrong button here.
It happens.
It does happen. It's happened many times today already. It was this that, you know what, for our 90s rewind, I thought that, you know what we forgot to talk about? We forgot. Okay, before we get to the 90s rewind, want to mention the woman that we thought, anybody in the world would line up to be her close friend has said that she really only has 3. It's Oprah.
Yeah.
and her friends are Gail. We all know that.
Mhm.
Maria Shriver, who she's known as long as Gail, 42 years of friendship there. And Bob Green, who was her the famous trainer that she brought on the show, dietitian trainer, that kind of thing. So, oh gosh, I
Here's
found
my
a
thoughts
great quote.
on that. Like,
I was
'cause
about to say,
obviously- yeah, go at 'em.
I was about to say, I wonder how many people thought they were Oprah's friend
Well, this is my
Yeah.
and learned
I'm
that they
like-
weren't.
because this is it. Because like Gail lives in New York. As far as I know, Oprah's in California, like near Meghan and Harry, right? Like in that hood. I don't like in Montecito or whatever. And then Maria, I think, probably lives closer down to Los Angeles. And then Bob Green, who the heck knows where he is? So like, what happens if the pool boy thought he was her bud? Know what I mean? Like,
Well, I
poor
think
pool
that
boy.
she has friends, but the ones that are close and like, I think she has other friends, but she's talking like, the lifers, right? So to have a 42-year friendship, I think
I'm
those
starting
are
to worry
fewer.
about my position as becoming her friend when I call her Ope. Know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think you're in trouble. What I love that she said was that the advice of long-lasting bonds like that was surround yourself with someone who is as happy for your happiness as you are for your happiness.
That's cool.
That you
Yeah.
need friends that are happy in their own lives so that they can actually be authentically happy for you.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Amen.
Now, amen to that. Now, how about this? We were coming off of the Nirvana story, and I thought, let us do a 90s rewind on what we were listening to the year before Nirvana exploded. So we'll get through that
was
quick
that?
because we've got some time issues happening at the moment. So let me get it, and I'll tell you this. 1990. We'll go back to around this time in 1990. And that, if you remember the group Nelson, the twin boys of Ricky Nelson with their long blonde locks, and they had a #1 hit called Love and Affection, which was
Mhm.
still in the top 10 around this time in 1990. And Kelly won't be surprised to know that Janet Jackson made a big jump to #5, where she'd peak with this song, the 6th single from Rhythm Nation. Kelly?
Was it
Black Cat. We don't have time
was
for you
Love
to
Will
think.
Never Do. I'm actually not sure which Love Will Never Do is 7th, I think. So what was
Black Cat.
Black Cat, right?
Black Cat. Excellent tune. Ice Ice Baby was at #4 on the charts. James Ingram, that voice. I Don't Have the Heart. Actually was the song at #3. At #2, it was a little switcheroo. Maxi Priest, Close to You, made the switcheroo with George Michael's Praying for Time, which
Aw.
was the first single from Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1 and George Michael's 7th #1 song back in 1990.
Love him.
Crazy. Time
Love-
flies, man. And that's
31
it.
years ago. Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Wild.
Yep.
Considering we are, as young as we are. Thank you guys for listening to 90s Now. Thank you for watching 90s Now also. Check
Fingers
us out
crossed.
on fingers crossed that this doesn't bite. Thanks, Kelly, for the visuals and making us look always cool. Adam, thank you for making us always sound so cool. And thank
Thank
you
you, Sharon.
guys for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.